Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. This is episode 499. I'm here with two good friends, Alexander and Sikina. I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me.
And if I butcher your name, I do apologize. It's part of my learning disabilities.
It's okay.
And now, for people who want to know, the new format is you're going to be box A and you're going to be box B. So when I say, okay, we're going to go back to box A, that's you. Alexander, and box B, it's you. So it'll make it easier. So you know whose turn it is and who's talking. And for people who want to know, I'm box C. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Whole point of my talk show is to show people, if you can pick it up already, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you want to be. It's to prove to them you can still mouth something. So hashtag break the labels. With that being said, half hour, 33 minutes of your time. And you can say anything you want, talk about whatever you want. It's uncensored. Freedom of self-expression, freedom of speech. Say whatever you like. And we're going to start off with box B because we did a demo interview a couple years ago and we're going to catch up. What can you tell us about yourself and how's life growing up?
So you're talking to me?
Yes, you're box B.
Sorry. For me, I wanted to become a voiceover artist since 2011. I was 25 years old, and I was watching the first time I've been inspired was when I watched Family Guy. I was in my room watching Family Guy, and I thought, this is what I want to do. And the actor that I wanted to work with, his name is Seth MacFarlane. He's the creator of the show. And I thought, I want to work with him too. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. And what I did was I contacted my college. I contacted the coordinator there. I told them I was interested in voiceover. And I said, could you please could you please send me some links to some schools that I can get into? And he gave it to me, and I contacted this place is called VoiceWorks, Kirby's VoiceWorks, and I got to a voice for artist, but then now that's going to be later on. Now I have another voice for artist who I did my demo with, and I worked on characters. So what I did was I watched cartoon shows that I can do with my voice that are age appropriate because my voice is a childlike voice, and and I saw what I could pull off. And then when I was with my coach, I worked on getting the characters together in terms of making the character the character. It has to be you. It has to show your personality. You cannot copy from somebody else. Like you cannot copy from Seth MacFarlane. You can't copy Stewie Griffin. It has to be you. If you're gonna have a character that's gonna be based on Stewie Griffin, it has to show your personality. It cannot be somebody else because that's Seth MacFarlane. And for example, for Batman, right? For the Joker, John DiMaggio, he played Bender in Futurama. That character, if I was gonna do the Joker, it had to be me. Yeah. It had to show me.
Right? It's always more fun to be original too. And before we go back over to box A, you can tell us about yourself. And to want to put my spin on it, it's pretty much, there's certain people that will always be known for their roles. Tommy McGuire will always be Spider-Man. Let's see. Tommy, I have a brain fart. Uh, Thank God you can't smell it, right? So Tommy McGuire, Spider-Man. You have Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man. You have
Yeah.
Christian Bale, Batman. You have Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. You have Christopher Reeves. Even though that's kind of like a little conflict for me because I'm a big Christopher Reeves fan, and I do like Tom Wellens. So yes, Christopher Reeves will always be Superman, but second best will be Tom Wellens. The Joker, Heath Ledger, he was great at it as it. The new guy is kind of like, what about it? The guy who did Mickey from Rocky, he will always be, the Penguin. And so there's pretty much certain people will be that person, and there's a lot of people that would disagree, okay, what about the Hulk? He had Edward Norton being the Hulk, and now you have Mark Ruffalo being the Hulk. It's kind of like, if Edwards was easier to work with, he would still be the Hulk, but he wanted more money or so whatever, the BS was about that. So what he wanted was Mark Ruffalo. So you have two people, yes, they're great actors who can be the Hulk. And even the guy from the the 60s and 70s, Lou Ferrigno, so you have three great actors who can be the Hulk. But the point is, there's three people, three different variations. And for an example, if the three of us did the same actor, each of us would have our own certain point that would make it different or make it better. But with that being said, I'm going to pass it to Paxay. And what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I've been acting since 2007. I first started on a cable access sketch comedy show called The Bob Show. Did a lot of parodies and improv. That's where I really started, and from there I've done a lot of different independent projects, both short and long. Um, I've been mainly doing a lot of horror films lately. I have a premiere for one called Parts Unknown, which was directed by Richard Chandler. That's going to be premiering June 9th. I get to play a creepy, creepy character. So that was a lot of fun to do. So, I mean, that's pretty much all the stuff that I've done so far. I got some shorts I've been working on, writing on. I'm hoping to direct next year. And this September, I'm working behind the scenes on another horror movie called The Wicked Hollows, which we're shooting in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is for both of you is social media. Can social media make you or break you? And because you're both actors, do you think it dictates if you should get a certain role or not?
Hmm. Well, that's a good question. I think social media is a good platform, especially for aspiring actors that don't have like any connection or any um, way to. I mean, for example, myself, I live in Massachusetts. I don't live in California. I don't live in New York. So it's not as easy for me to, just go out and do auditions at these places because of where I'm located. I think social media really gives me the opportunity to contact some of these people in different states and send in my demo reel, do auditions, and contact and network, which I probably would not have unless I actually physically lived in either New York or California.
It's the same with voiceover too, because where I'm headed, because I want to be in the union, and when you go up to the union, in terms with the cartoons I want to be in, because I want to be on Seth MacFarlane's cartoons. That's my dream to work with Seth MacFarlane. So I would have to move to Los Angeles, and I would, because that's where the work is. If you want to work with me, because for Family Guy and American Dad and all his shows, it's closed off for people who have actually actually live in LA. And there's actually another show he's on, Keith. There's another show. It's called The Orville. Have you seen it?
This is the family they're deformed, right? Oh wait, no, that's oblongs. Sorry.
Trek. No, it's like Star Trek sci-fi. Have you seen it?
What's the name of it again?
The Orville. The Orville.
Oh, that's the brand new one he's doing.
Yeah.
I saw bits and pieces of it. Well, it's pretty good. It's like comedy, yeah, but it's also being serious at the same time.
Yeah, it's a comedy drama. There's also voiceover in that as well. There's this one actor, his name is Norm Macdonald. He plays the Blob, this Blob character, gelatinous blob, as Seth calls it. So his name is Yaphet, the character's name is Yaphet, and that's all voiceover. So a lot of this is all like CGI, and has on camera too. So mostly on camera, but there's also voice acting in there too, with the CGI because of the CGI stuff, the computer generated stuff.
No,
I really like it.
Now before we pass, oh go ahead. I'm sorry, Skype. Breaks in, breaks out.
Sorry, it's been nominated.
Oh, nice. Now, before I pass the show over to you, I know you had a couple questions from the first episode we did, so I said you can ask us for this one. But here's a joke for both of you. I want your honest opinion. And because you're a Seth MacFarlane fan, so you would probably appreciate this. And Alex, do you like Seth MacFarlane?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I really like his stuff.
Well, in that case, both of you would appreciate it. He did the, I think the Emmys or the Oscars like a year ago.
It was, sorry, I'm trying to remember.
He did one of them. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
And he made a joke about Abe Lincoln. It's like there's only one person who got inside of Lincoln's head.
Yeah.
And everyone booed him. It's like, what's the matter, 200 years too soon?
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a warped sense of humor, but you have to laugh at stupid things, you know? You can't take them personally.
Yeah, a lot of people, they take it personally, and that's the thing. I mean, with Seth, I mean, he got people that don't like him, too, because of his work, because of his type of humor.
So
but there's a lot of fans, and he's making a lot, so...
No, I agree, and this is what we're going to do, because I'm looking at the time. For Box B, you can ask any top 3 questions on your list, and then we're going to pass it to Alex in Box A, and you can ask any top 3 questions. And for an example, you can direct it at both of us, and in Box B, you can direct your work at both of us. So we make it more interactive and more fun. So... ladies first, we'll start with you. I know you did mention that you do have a disability, that you are in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pass it over with you, with that being said.
Okay, yes, I'm in a wheelchair. And I just wanted to know, what do you guys think about in terms of someone being in a wheelchair or being disabled? How can they achieve their dreams if everything is so? If there's so many challenges in their way, how can they achieve that?
I think this is for
You want to go?
Okay, you want me to do it? I have interviewed a whole bunch of other people, actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, people with learning disabilities, people without disabilities, people who have this one guy has cerebral palsy, but he's a filmmaker. My other
Oh,
friend, she's in a wheelchair, like like you, and she's in a wheelchair. And we talked about how she fired her agent because she's like, we can't work with somebody like you because you're in a wheelchair. There's no certain parts. And I'm like,
okay.
that that's bullshit because you just because you're in a chair, put you behind a table, put you in a chair, put you on the couch, put you at like a bar scene. You can, as long as you're sitting, or you can either hide it or not. As long as you're sitting, no one knows you're in a wheelchair. So basically, don't look for excuses because you still, hey, you guys can do laps around me, but don't let people label you and say, oh, because of this, or you're in a wheelchair because I'm labeled handicapped, mentally disturbed, retarded. There's no work for you. Those are all labels. If you're capable of doing something, you should go and do it. And now, in your case, because you're in a wheelchair, as
Yep.
long as you're sitting, couch, chair, whatever the scenario is, no one has to know anything.
But you do have to work really, really hard. That's the term I'm trying to. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that you do have to work really, really hard. I mean, with voiceover, I have plenty of of uh, of challenges. Sorry, I have plenty of challenges out loud here. I have 7 challenges. I have so much that I even have to look back and forth to get a glimpse, to see what they are, because I have so much, and it's a lot. And even with voiceover, you have to do tons of research. You have to know about the business side. You have to know as much as possible, and you have to upgrade on your skills, and you have to become upgrading your skills in terms of your characters, getting new characters, so to get new demos. You have to you have to be know more about the business side, becoming a better marketer, becoming a better business. Well, I just did this 1 year, so there's still a lot that I need to learn. But I'm doing the best I can. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, and I'm not gonna give up. And with uh, with in terms of voiceover with people with disabilities or not, I guess not with people with disabilities. Sorry, with people who don't have disabilities, they tend to give up. It's too hard. They don't get the big jobs that they want to get. They're thinking, oh, well, I can get this big job, so I can do this. Then later on, they're thinking, oh, well, I'm just gonna quit now. And it's too much work. There's a lot of to be done. You got to go to casting directing workshops. Meet up with the producers there. You got to audition. And you're in a casting director workshop. And I have to drive to downtown Toronto because where I live, it's kind of far, and I have to drive there. I can't take the bus because my bus that I take does not go to downtown Toronto. I have to take another bus. I have to take TTC. I'll have to be dropped off at Centrepoint. So it's like Shoptownsfield. There's a mall in that area and that street. So I have to get the TTC, pick me up, take me down to my location, and then send me back. And it's difficult. So I have to drive, and it's been difficult with the driving thing because you know I can't get a modified vehicle quick for me, either that provides wheelchair accessibility in order for my power chair or my wheelchair to go into the driver's seat, or that provides that provides uh, for me to be upright and to be in the upright position so I can get support. Then I won't be sliding while I'm driving. So I'm I did my G1, so I'm working on my G2, and also you also have to. I worked very hard in terms of getting the characters. For the demo, it took me a year, so I started 2016, and then it took me from that point on from 2016 December to 2016 to January. That's when I was ready. So I did Well, I did a preparation lesson, and then I did my demo February 10th, 2016. So I remember the dates. I don't know,
Alright,
but it takes a long time. It takes time. It's it took me 3 hours to do in the studio with my coach. It was fun.
hey, as long as you enjoy it, it's all that matters. Now, Alex, it's your turn. You can access your questions, and you can also weigh in on this as well.
Um, well, I mean, the thing is, my opinion when it comes to um, whether it's voice acting, acting in general, filmmaking, anything creative, is that um, if you love it and it's a passion for you, you gotta pursue it. And it is hard. It is hard, especially hard with people with disabilities. And the thing is, I always think that a lot of directors are a little short-sighted.
Mm.
I've worked with different people that that when someone I've worked with a friend of mine, Christian Cromwell, and he has no arms, and I worked with him on three separate projects, and each project really didn't have a role for him. So the director, Richard Chandler, he created a role for him and brought him in. And that's one of the things that I think that more directors and filmmakers should do, which is when you have someone who does have a disability but is extremely talented, sometimes either change the role or create a role, because there's a lot of talented people out there that should be given the opportunity to pursue their dreams. And like I said, my opinion is sometimes I think people just look for the easy way out, saying, well, there's no roles for someone in a wheelchair, there's no roles for someone with this disability. But the question should be not that there's no roles already made for them. The thing that should be brought up is why can't we make more roles for people with those disabilities? I mean
And
that.
it's funny too because there's a lot of things for people with disabilities out there. I mean, I've researched skiing. There's skiing for people with disabilities. Cause I want to. That's something I want to do. There's horseback riding for people with disabilities. There's rock climbing for people with disabilities. Driving there is, but my case is different. So, but somebody with a disability can drive, but it's usually with like hand controls and all that. With someone who has a disability, for me it's different. I just I need a little more care for that. I need a little more help. There's also there's a bunch of things like Special Olympics. There's Paralympics for people with disabilities. So it's funny that even though there's so many things out there for people with disabilities, so many activities out there, but that is for people with disabilities. They provide the adaptions for them so they can do those activities. It's funny that somebody who's in a disability is told that who has a disability is told that they can't do whatever that they want to do, whatever their career is that they're passionate about. That's really funny.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up our talk show, I'm going to ask you guys two questions, but I'm going to do something different because it's a double interview. I'm going to give you guys each one question to ask to each other. And if you ask one question, because you both are upcoming actors, is there any words of wisdom, any words of advice you would give to each other?
Um, I mean, my advice, which I've given to other people I've worked with and people who ask me about it, is that if you you can't help but constantly dream and want to pursue this, don't let people tell you you can't, because you're going to always have people that tell you can't, because they themselves are too scared to take the chance themselves. And they don't want to see you be successful and reaching your dreams while they can't reach theirs. So what I always say is, when people tell you that you can't do something, use that as inspiration to do it. I mean, that's the advice I've given people that I've worked
Well, for me, I would say you have to just work hard and believe in yourself. And whatever obstacles you're gonna have, you better be prepared for them because this is what you wanted, and so you better fight it and don't let your disability knock you down. Just and don't feel bad. Oh, I have a disability. I can't do this. You can do it. You just have to have the right mindset, and you have to have resources. And speaking of resources, well, I was working on trying to get funding, and I got some funding. I got some funding to pay for lessons and to pay for my demo. So there was that too. So there's a lot of organizations that help out for in terms for paying for voiceover lessons and for demos. And that's what I need. So
Yeah.
you got to be prepared for the financial part of it too, in terms for in terms of paying for the equipment and so on. And for lessons, you gotta always keep learning to make yourself better, to make yourself a better voiceover actor than you are now. So what you are now, you have to be better than that. How you are now, you have to be better than that. You have to always keep learning. I don't know if this applies to you in terms of your acting. You always have to upgrade on your skills and business side and all that. Website too. You have to have a website. You have to upgrade on that also. So do you have to do that as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's, I mean, I obviously on website yet. I do have Facebook. I've been working on that. But I am taking classes to try to learn and get more skills as an actor. Because, like you said, you have to constantly learn and try to be better than you are right now.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the whole thing. You got to keep on learning new things and new tricks and new things to make you a better performer.
And
No, I
especially
agree.
if one. Sorry.
No, I agree. Now, wrapping up our talk show, or over the limit, is my last question for both of you. Actually, last two questions. Are you guys on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? That's the first one. And the second part is, when I first approached both of you to be a guest on my talk show, how did you feel, and how do you feel now after doing the interview?
I
Well,
feel bad. I feel like
go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. I wasn't before. Well, I how do I feel like before I felt I wasn't doing well, but I feel confident now. The second time round. Sorry, you can go ahead. You want to
Okay.
say?
Yeah, I gotta say, I was honored that you reached out to me about being on this talk show. I have to admit, I haven't done many interviews, and it was nice that you reached out to me. And I have to say, I enjoyed this talk. I think I learned a lot, and hopefully I can be on the show again, in the future.
No, absolutely. Hey, you're supporting a good cause and making a new friend out of it at the same time.
I just wanted to add something
Sure.
before we wrap up. Uh, I wanted to be on talk shows before. I thought about it before when I become a voice actor. I wanted to be on talk shows talk about my life as a voiceover artist and challenges and so on. And I finally got my taste, so I think it's a good it was a good idea that I went on here just to see how I feel about it. And I like it, so I like it, and I hope I can be on the show again.
No, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. While wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward. Part 2 was Alex, and a part 3 was you. So I just want to say thank you for your time.
Anytime.
I'm Lisa Berry.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
And me, Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Maria Camille Dixon.
I'm Sarah Dates Wardam.
My name is Linda Preston, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
It's Russo.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Babbitt.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
My name is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Orange Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
And this is Goldar.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew and what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm gonna come kick your ass.